Live from Cool Boys Central.
You're the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
From bat tips to bat nips, we are just three cool boys revisiting Batman, the animated series, and wearing hats. This is Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast.
I see Batman and Beyond.
Greetings, Cool Boy Bat Nation, and welcome to another installment of Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast. I'm Felk.
I'm Ballard.
And I'm Steve.
So cool.
Tonight's episode is Appointment in Crime Alley.
Sucks.
Directed by Boyd Kirkland and written by Gary Conway. This episode aired September 17th, 1992, and features Roland Daggett as the villain. Wikipedia says, with the help of arsonists, Roland Daggett plans to destroy Crime Alley and use the land to expand his business empire. Note, based on the comic story, there is no hope in Crime Alley. Detective Comics number 457, March 1976, by Denny O'Neil and Dick Giordano. And to talk about this episode, here's Ballard and Steve.
Hey there.
Ooh. Well, yeah, that's right. Now, I think it's a direct adaptation of There Is No Hope in Crime Alley, as Felk mentioned.
I haven't read that one.
I haven't read it either. I'm not that fluent in Batman comics.
I was, though, surprised to hear Jeffrey Tambor's voice as one of the hired goons.
Yeah, he was. He played Crocker.
Yes, I was pleasantly surprised. I also thought it was funny that it was another Daggett episode, so that they're really focusing on developing him as like a sort of a villain in the businessman, right?
Yeah, Daggett is back with the blast in this episode. He's going to set off bombs in a ghetto, in a horribly rundown, ghetto area. But we're going to learn that some of these people that live in the ghetto have a heart of gold and all are worth saving.
It doesn't sound like you are too positive on this episode.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it sucks for the most part. I didn't really care for it. I like Daggett in general. I remember seeing this as a kid and was kind of just like, this is a shitty episode. We're going to follow this old lady getting kidnapped? Why do I care about this old lady being kidnapped? I don't like it when old people are kidnapped. This is just weird. It's just weird. It's just like, leave them alone. They're old. You know?
See, I thought this was...
Leslie Tompkins should have been really hot, young, and sexy.
Well, this was the lady that took care of Batman when he was a boy.
Yeah,
after his
but
parents
they
were
need
killed.
to rewrite the continuity, and so that the story is that she was a young girl at the same time Bruce had his parents murdered and comforted him, and then they grew up together, and now she's super sexy, hot Leslie Tompkins, doctor by night, nurse by day, whatever.
I kind of liked the episode. I thought it was, it was one more on the psyche of Batman, kind of developing who he is. And I thought that was, I enjoyed that. I didn't really need it to be...
Win me over, Steve. You have 20 minutes to do so. I do like that Daggett has clearly, a type of hired goon. Last time we had Daggett, which was Feet of Clay. He had Germ and Bell. And this time it's Nitro and Crocker.
They should have a spin-off series with Nitro and Crocker.
Yeah, and German Bell, too. That's a good one. German Bell hired goons at large.
But I like how the episode started off with Bruce just lifting weights and just showing off his body and just that he's just this big guy and he's just getting pissed off at Daggett.
Yeah, he's like Ben Affleck. He's Ben Affleck's Batman.
Mm-hmm. And it's clear that they have this storyline where it's just Daggett is the evil businessman. He has this monologue in the third act where it's just basically it is time for the businessman to take over and we must have a heart of steel. And it's just all this hatred for the idea of progress. We must move forward and redevelop this town. But I did think it was interesting having it be focused on the certain day. And so it was like for Batman, it was that, he wasn't even trying to stop all these series of crimes. He was just trying to basically make his appointment with the lady that took care of him.
What do you mean? He stopped them all. He stopped them.
It was all, but he didn't want to. It was all like these. It was like he was just trying to get to his appointment, and on his way, he has to stop the kidnapping. He has to stop. There's a person that
he almost drives into a little girl crossing the street, and then saves the mom. Yeah, she's getting shaken down by the mob to leave her apartment or whatever. Yeah.
He keeps getting involved.
The suicide guy that essentially is straight out of Lethal Weapon. He pulls the rigs, and then there's the runaway trolley. Right now, we're actually watching the sequence in which Batman is stopping the mobsters from hurting this family, this wonderfully beautiful family.
A single mother, so
classic story. Batman's gonna fuck her.
You know where that's gonna go.
Yeah, Batman loves to fuck single moms. That's definitely something that's been alluded to throughout the series so far, and we're just in episode 26. I don't remember, but maybe we'll get an episode where he actually fucks one someday. We'll see it.
The random chick that Ben Affleck Batman fucked in Batman v Superman, the one who's just lying naked in his bed when he has wine?
Yeah, when he's doing pills and drinking out of wine bottles
for breakfast of wine. You think she was a single mom?
For sure.
I would imagine so.
Stripper single mom too, right?
Those are the best. Those are awesome. I love those.
Demi Moore, right? Strip tease.
Well, there's a lot of real life ones too that I've encountered.
Felk, how are they?
I mean, they kind of make you feel like Batman.
Do you really? Okay, so if you have the opportunity, to pick between just say hook up at the bar or stripper sex, who would you go with? Both hot women.
Yeah, stripper, but yeah, the stripper is going to know what she's doing more. I mean, and also most strippers get into it because they kind of like sexual attention. It's rarely a one who does not like to be touched goes into stripping.
I'm a dancer.
Yeah,
that's not Showgirls. I'm not a stripper. I'm a dancer.
It's not. The Showgirls is not an accurate movie about strip clubs.
Yes, it is.
You can't touch me, but I can touch you. In what fucking strip club in Vegas is that the case?
All of them.
None of them. Except Glitter Gulch, which closed down, thankfully.
Everyone. Yeah. All right. Well, back to Batman.
Uh-huh.
Do you think Batman, Steve, would fuck a stripper?
I think that... probably not, unless it was something that he had to do as Bruce Wayne.
You have a different interpretation of Batman than I do.
I think Bruce Wayne would, but not Batman.
All right. Well, cool. Well, Batman, obviously goes to go meet up with his 9:00 date of Leslie Tompkins, and she's not there, so he's all hunting her for now.
I think it's 8:00.
I think it's 9:00 is the date.
9:00 is when the bomb is supposed to explode, and 8:00 is when he's supposed to meet up.
Oh, so he's 30 minutes late now or some shit. Then.
Yeah,
okay.
He just keeps getting later, and then she's like, he's late, so I'm going to go look for him, and then she gets kidnapped, and then he has to stop the bomb before 9.
He also goes to her apartment to check out some sweet evidence, and when he goes and you see a mailbox, you see Leslie Tompkins' name, but right next to Leslie Tompkins' name, you see Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm, right there. He likes to put himself all over this, doesn't he?
Well, wouldn't you?
Makes a character about himself where he's an evil toy collector. Well, yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So, I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, hey, that's something cool in this episode. That's not so good, because I really kind of found it just tiresome to have Batman constantly trying to stop other petty crimes from happening. You know,
It was all while
because-
he was trying to go to. It was the anniversary of his parents' death. And
yeah. Well, he should probably get over it. You know, I mean,
Well, that's
do
why he's
something
Batman.
different, like dress up like a bat every night instead, and mourn it into it for your parents always instead.
Yeah, I guess, once again, I felt like it was interesting for a kid's show to try to develop the psyche behind why he does what he does, and to develop that character. And I thought it was interesting, and it wasn't supposed to be focused on the crimes. It was focused on, ultimately disappointment that they kept alluding to throughout the episode. Like, oh, I make my appointment.
Disappointment. Well, okay. Now we're watching Batman do the whole rig suicide. Save the dude from committing suicide in Lethal Weapon. Except this guy's got a gun.
He really messes it up. Like, he basically, like, he tells the cop, oh, he's going to shoot the hostage, and he goes up there, and then the guy starts just shooting wildly, and then they fall off the billboard, and Batman just suddenly, like, catches them somehow, and they land. It was not a real slick Batman save.
They worked it around editing. Well, I thought he was shooting wildly because wasn't he like about to like slip off or some shit? I thought.
No, he started to shoot Batman, and then Batman was like swinging around, and then he just like suddenly starts to fall, or he shoots like one of the, ropes
support
that's holding
cables?
the billboard. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, those good old support cables. You hit that one.
Batman just walks up and tells the cop, like, I'll handle this. And it's just completely, F's it up.
Well, one of the things I love about how Batman saves them is that I just watched it. See, here was is that it's just literally an edit where it's a wide shot. He just swoops them up somehow magically in a wide shot, and then he reveals that they're under the cape the whole time hugging him. Yeah, that's weird. Well, here we are. Boom, mailboxes. L. Tompkins and Bruce Timm.
So he lives in the ghetto, basically. Bruce Timm. That's
Yeah, he lives in.
for a writer.
Well, Park Row used to be amazing, but now it's Crime Alley.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a whole thing that they point out to us, or they have a whole like newsreel, like, look at this, Park Row, 1966. Everybody loved it, but by 1988, it became Crime Alley, and they cut to like just, people fucking and like in their asses in the street and shit, and condoms being tossed in the gutter, crack, being done like right there on the corner.
It's the AIDS epidemic.
When you see condoms in the gutter, that's fine. It's when you see a tampon next to it that I'm sad.
Wait. What was David Cross's whole thing? When there's condoms in the middle of the street, that's just reckless? Like, who's out in the middle of the street fucking?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm talking about down the back alley behind my apartment. One time I saw a condom, and then I was like, "Oh, that's gross." And then right next to it was a tampon. I was like, "Oh, she pulled it out." And
That's disgusting. I love that. Ew, that's so horrible. Though, fucking disgusting. Just right there in the alley. Alley fucking. It's dirty, man.
Woo, woo.
Well, back to Crime
I think
Alley.
alcohol induced.
No.
Way more than alcohol, buddy.
How dare you, Steve?
Yeah, I see little strips of aluminum foil that are burnt. I'm like, oh, hey,
what is that?
This is right behind like
What is that?
4-star restaurants.
Crack.
What is it though? What is that? What is that a sign of?
Freebasing
Freebasing crack?
or meth or crystal. You ever watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I don't remember them doing it on foil.
They did in the show.
Did they?
Jesse does
Chasing
it.
the dragon.
That's heroin.
I gotta rewatch Breaking Bad again. Oh my god, I've been really loving Better Call Saul.
It's not as good.
I like Better Call Saul a lot.
There's less immediacy. Like with Breaking Bad, you knew what it was building to at least some degree. You felt like there was I don't know what the ultimate.
You felt like you were in a pressure cooker.
Yeah, exactly. With Better Call Saul, it's 2 TV shows. It's the Mike show and it's the Saul show.
Yeah, but I find for me, what's great about Better Call Saul is not knowing what some of these new characters I would never have enjoyed or thought I would have enjoyed, who I now like love. What happens to them? Like, how do they end up leaving their stories, their lives? Like, how do they change? Like, what happens to Kim? Like, how does Kim leave Saul's life? Like, how does that occur? How does that moment occur? And Nacho, like, how does
Nacho gets killed?
Nacho's definitely dead, right? I mean, that has to be the case. I almost think that Kim lives.
I think she moves to doesn't Saul go to Minnesota or something, and that's where Kim's family's
Kansas
from?
City, I thought, or Nebraska.
Omaha, Nebraska is where he ends up.
Omaha.
Yeah, I think that's the same where she said her family was from. So I think.
So my guess was this was I was thinking is the whole black and white sequence, which is kind of emulating the second season of Breaking Bad's openings.
Mhm.
I think that the black and white sequence at the beginning of the sometimes Better Call Saul, I think, is indicative that we're gonna see her come back somehow, and she's gonna meet him in his third persona or fourth persona now, I guess.
If it keeps going, that would be my guess, or something like that, or he gets killed. He's definitely they were pushing the paranoia.
Oh, for sure. They just showed Batman earlier, by the way, stopping at a yellow light that's about to turn red. That's not too reckless for a really reckless person.
I like what he does with the Batmobile with this instance. So this was a little cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, you're right. We have a Steve-sponsored cliffhanger act break with a runaway trolley.
And Batman has to stop the runaway trolley, and he uses the Batmobile pretty well. He throws it.
This is sick, Steve. This is sick shit, actually. I totally agree.
He throws it in front of the trolley and just like sacrifices it.
The star of this episode is the Batmobile for me.
Oh, I definitely felt like they were showing it off in this episode. It was like all him just jutting around throughout the city in the Batmobile. He uses like a grappling hook.
Yeah, he uses a grappling hook. He fucking does armor. It's all straight out of Batman 1989 too.
Yeah, they were showing it off. I felt like they were showing off the most in this episode than I've seen in others, but I could be wrong on that one for sure.
This is the reason why I owned this particular Batmobile toy, is because of episodes like this where it was badass and it made me want to play with it and do badass shit with it. To call back to another Cool Boys episode on our other podcast about Batmobiles is Felk and I talked about bat cycles and bat pods, and there was, Felk, and I'd like you to look this up if you don't mind, producer Felk. There was a toy, because my little brother had it. It was the 1989, or from technically Batman Returns, Batmobile, and it did launch like a bat pod out of it, and that was a toy we had growing up, and you and I talked about this. I failed to mention that at the time. Can you please look up that toy for me?
It's a Batman Returns toy, you're saying?
That's correct. Yeah, it was Batman Returns toy.
Oh, I forget if it was in this episode or another one where Batman uses like the ejector seat from the.
Yeah.
Was it this episode?
One. No, it's not. It's not actually. It's Mad Hatter.
Yeah,
okay. That's it, Felk. So what is that called? What is that? They named it because it was like something Batmobile Batpod edition. It was something like that. But I remember it being Train or something like that.
The Batmobile Bat Missile.
Bat Missile. Oh, they call it the Bat Missile. So there was a name for that. We thought that may have been called a Bat Pod or something to that effect, but that is actually the Bat Missile.
Yeah, I would call it the. Actually, I would call it the Bat Dildo.
Yeah, the Bat Tick.
That goes right in, I bet.
Yeah, the Batmobiles have had a long line of being dildo-like in the 90s for sure. No
well, with the Schumacher one, that was just because he loved cock so much.
Both Schumacher ones, they are different Batmobiles in each Schumacher Batman film, and they are both cocks.
Yeah, very cock.
Giant, gorgeous, glowing black cocks with fucking lights galore.
You love cock.
Well, we're
him?
watching right now Batman saving Leslie Tompkins, who was kidnapped by Nitro and Crocker. And what you just notice right now is that Batman pulls off the white gag, like the handkerchief, right? That's around Leslie's head. But when he holds it up in the next shot, it's yellow. My guess, she fucking puked all into the fucking rag, and it was just like, because it was like, gagging her so fucking much when she like, was like, and they were like, being rude fucking goons, hired goons to her. So I thought that needed to be pointed out, that is that's not a color mistake by the animators. That is actually disgusting and on purpose. Steve, what's up?
I just wanted to point out when Batman finds the goons that he just basically really recklessly throws them.
He hates Daggett goons.
He just like throws them on top of the TNT like it's nothing. Like they're not going to might explode everything around him. Even Nitro's like, hey, what are you doing? You're crazy.
You're crazy, bitch. Chill the fuck out. No, Batman hates Daggett goons. Remember he took that other Daggett goon from feet of clay, and he like dragged him across the Gotham Bay, like holding his little wrist with a giant bat claw coming out of the bat wing, and then dropped him like 500 feet up in the air into a skyscraper rooftop pool that's maybe at most 6 feet deep at like 200 miles an hour. And then he threatened the other one, Germ. That was, I think, Bell. He threatens Germ, who's a germaphobe, with punching like what is thought to be a virus in a bottle, a glass bottle on a loose shelf that could fall onto Germ, the hired goon. Then it turns out to be what, like water or some shit or nothing. I don't remember. It was nothing. It was nothing bad.
But
Batman's a dick to Daggett goons.
Oh, he's pissed off, and then but it really ends with because he can't beat Daggett. Like it ends with where Daggett basically he comes in, he's like, "Oh, I got these goons, and they're gonna point you out," and then Daggett's like, "Take them away, boys!"
Yeah, take them away. These bad guys. These are the bad guys.
And
sure.
Batman's just like, "What?" He throws a sign, and Daggett gets kind of.
Oh yeah, he tosses the blockade thing, the police blockade, like at the limousine. He gets pissed.
Yeah, this kind of ruined his day. He was there to put his rose on his parents' murder site, and then there's Daggett wanting to blow it up.
It shouldn't ruin that. By the way, we finally do see the location of the death, as opposed to it being done in some kind of dream sequence or scarecrow induced hallucination. Back to Daggett. I love that Leslie even says to Batman at the end, she's all like, her advice is essentially let Daggett go, which is a horrible, it's horrible advice because it's horrible for someone else. Like somebody down the line is gonna get killed because let him go. Just let him go, bros. Leslie's kind of a weird character. I'm glad she didn't come back too much. I think she comes back later though, right? In later seasons, she's kind of a bigger character.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not entirely sure either. Facts. A fact that is kind of cool is when Batman does come across those hired goons and he beats them the fuck down. There's a truck and it says J. Olson and Sons Photography Equipment. So that's pretty cool. So that obviously is referencing Jimmy Olsen. And then while Batman's getting pissed and throwing police blockades at limousines, owned by Daggett and with Daggett in them, you can see this kid in a green jacket, snapping away photos. I was almost like, are they hinting at that being Jimmy Olsen? This is well before the Superman animated series came out. So
I looked it up. Yeah, Leslie Tompkins appears in quite a few episodes. She appears in
way later, right?
Purchase to Dream.
What episode is that? What is that? What numbers are these? Season 2, episode.
No, I don't have the numbers.
That's useless information, Steve. All right.
I don't think so. Knowing the title, it's I Am the Night, Blind as a Bat.
Do you think Batman
Paging the Crime
is
Doctor?
Fucking Leslie, or
Yes.
do you think he can't because she's not a single mom?
He just prefers single moms.
This was the lady that raised Batman from a boy. I don't think there's a sexual relationship there.
See, I'm telling you, if they did it my way, then after the roses, they could go back and have really hot, steamy, fucking damp Batcave sex. Keeps the mask on the whole time. She doesn't know who it is.
She's
like,
keeping
oh my God.
the secret.
And you know what? And Batman probably has a fucking tattoo that says I'm Bruce Wayne. Well, but if he leaves the cowl on, you just might be like, I don't know what that tattoo means. And it's right across his dick. So you have to see it. What are your boys, Steve?
Nice.
I
give it 3 out of 5.
Wow. That's so much different than mine. Mine's 2 out of 5. Felk, what are your boys? Do you have any boys for this?
I didn't watch it.
Nice.
Great bat stuff, gentlemen. Cool Boy Nation, tune in next week. Same cool bat time. Same cool bat channel. Cool Bat Nation, be sure to let us bat know what you bat thought of Appointment in Crime Alley. Or what your favorite bat episode is by bat emailing us at batmanandbeyondcoolboys@gmail.com. New episodes of Batman and Beyond come out every Tuesday. Please check out our other great Cool Boy Central content with The Cool Boys Podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Patreon. where the Cool Boys have an uncensored discussion about 5 so cool movies, everything ranging from bods to dongs and all the boners they have given us. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at coolboyspodcast and Facebook group us at the Cool Boys Podcast. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube by searching for the Cool Boys Podcast. And be sure to rate and review us on iTunes at the Cool Boys Podcast. And if you like, you can donate to us on Patreon and receive additional episodes of Cool Boys After Dark and a Cool Boy shout out on the Cool Boys Podcast that airs every Tuesday. You can find the Cool Boys on Patreon at patreon.com/coolboyspodcast. Thank you for listening. Stay cool, Cool Boy Nation. Until next time, it's Byzies from Felk.
That's Byzies from Ballard.
And Byzies from Steven.
So cool.
Batman
And beyond. Oh, yeah. Batman.
and beyond.
Oh, yeah.